Good evening, all you viewers. Switched on Facebook Live tonight. Hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man. It's going to be a good night tonight. I'm going to be talking about the councils and forced adoption. Now, councils up and down this country, they're failing. These families, they're failing. David Cameron gave millions of pounds to keep families together, to councils. And the social services are not even doing that. They're not even doing that. It's crazy, you know. And when you get involved with these councils and you start going to the council chamber meetings, it's a joke when you go in there. Because they're all squabbling over stupid stuff. All the councillors are running around the streets trying to get their pictures taken with a bit of fly tipping. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's a joke. All that councils are there for is to see us as walking wallets. You know, they put the council tax up, they put everything else up. And when you walk around your local area, like around Grays, you see the council workers sitting around. They're not even doing anything. Do you know what I mean? But what I'd like to do tonight, before we get off, is put my numbers right from the other day. I mean, my ideas for the Alzheimer's sufferers. I mean, there's 850,000 Alzheimer's sufferers in this country. Now, if my idea under the Social Service Party would hit them Alzheimer's people, and I could raise 25.5 million of new government money to go into Alzheimer's NHS, you know. And again, like I say, because I'm a children's rights campaigner, I'm about not funds, I'm about making rolling funds, you know. And the Social Service Party, that's what it's about. There's 11 million children under the age of 18 in this country, and this is their statistics, the child system statistics. I mean, if my idea hits half of them, which would be 6.5 million, that's 195 million pounds of government, new money into government I could raise. Now this is a great idea, you know, and it's going to be a turn of the seas for kids in this country, you know, because at the end of the day, the children are our future. You know, and it stops, the book stops. Forced adoption, the social service, you know, it all needs to be looked into, because at the end of the day, it ain't fair on the police. It ain't fair on the police. You're squeezing the police's budget, and you're expecting a 110% job off them guys. You know, I'd like to say thank you to the child protection team that came round to my house today to speak to my son. Two great people. Thanks a lot, you know, and we're going to listen to what you say, and we're going to take on board and do what we said we was going to do. But again, you do a great job down at Grays Police Station for child protection, and take my hat off to you. But going back to the 11 million children, and if my idea had actually reached 6.5 million, you know, that could raise me 195 million pounds of government new money. Now with that 195 million, what I would do is put 95 million pounds of that into Mumby's recommendation, because he said it was inhumane to be splitting old people up after they've been married for so long and separating them into old people's homes, where social services are failing them, you know. So I'll stick 95 million pounds into old people's homes to keep them families together, and I would put the other 100 million pounds into children's NHS, as in for mental health, you know, because it's going to be a turn of the seas for children. I mean, these councils, they always say, oh, lessons have been learned. There's quite a few people on my Facebook that have had been wrongdoings by the council. And when they phone up to the social services to find out about their case, they're messed and mucked about, you know. The social worker's never in, the social worker's always in a meeting, the social worker's always on annual leave, the social worker's always on the call, you know. They're never transparent. And then what they do is they pass the book from pillar to post. Oh, I'm not your social worker now. I'm your social worker, and this social worker might happen to be agency. Write all what she wants to write regarding the case, and then off she trots because she's on the agency. But at the end of the day, when this case gets to court, this agency social worker doesn't get called to court. Now, whoever under the Social Service Party, I'm going to make sure transparency for social workers is going to be right across the board, because the 26-week court process is not being met. And these judges, most of these judges, if not all of them, are really good, hard-working judges, you know, and they're getting bad names because they've got to deal with all the rubbish paperwork social services are producing to the courts. Now, the barristers, they don't care if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. they get paid, right? It's a game to them people, right? They absolutely, my barrister, Marcia Hyde and Darren Watts, they are excellent. You know, they bounced off each other and they hammered the local authority in court in the Misty Bones case. I take my hat off to Marcia Hyde and Darren Watts. Second to none, you know. They were clever, they were smart, they said it how I wanted them to say it. It was great, you know. Marcia Hyde kept my missus in court frame of mind the whole way through it, you know. She never told us she might win this case, we might win this case. She always said to her, oh, I don't know if you're going to do this, you know what I mean? So Marcia Hyde, thank you very much for keeping my missus in the mindset that you did. And Darren Watts, again, thank you to you, mate, you know, because we had our little chat and I thought we didn't have to chat for long with my barrister. He just thought, I'll let Jack go off on his tangent, he'll be fine. You know, I think my barrister had good confidence in me. But going back to forced adoption within the councils, when you go to the council, this is what happens with social workers. Do you know what I mean? And then when it gets to court, there's bits of paperwork missing. Oh, we haven't got. Can we have more time to do that report? And we need an assessment. These assessments is shocking. I can prove my assessment done on me was word for word of the social worker's statement of fact for court. Word for word. Now, this professional got up to £9,000 for this assessment. Up to £9,000. And now this came out of the children's budget. Now, if I opened independent assessment units under the social service party and independent contact centres, all them £9,000 that are going through court processes for assessments being paid for, it wouldn't be for profit. Because you, government, say to everybody else in Parliament, and it isn't for profit. And clearly it is. Right the way along the line. From the barristers to the contact centres to the foster parents. You know, the whole thing needs looking into. You know, and I've got the answers to do that. Because I firmly believe, and I've got my hand on my heart, I firmly believe when I combat social services, the police are going to love me because I've got great ideas for the police to earn money for the police. Because at the end of the day, you can't keep squeezing the police's budget, you know, and expecting a 110% job. You just can't do it, you know. And there's only one person, right? I say this to all my friends. I've turned a corner in my life, right? And I say to all my friends, there's only one person in this country that can phone a friend and 50 of his mates will turn up. And that's the old Bill. The Busies, as they're known in Liverpool. The Rozzers. Do you know what I mean? They're the only people that can make one phone call and 50 people will turn up. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, these people are protecting children, you know. And when their budgets are squeezed, you know, we want the best officers, you know, to deal with the likes of Poppy Worthington up in Cumbria and deal with them cases up in Cumbria. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to say thank you to all the people that are liking and sharing me posts. I'm in this for change. It hurts me a lot to see families on the computer on my Facebook grieving for their children or panicking about going to court and all the rest of it. I know exactly how you feel, you know, and this is the only way that we're going to get it out there to government. I've got a press release out there now. I've had to stand aside twice now because of 2 terrorist incidents regarding my press release. I don't mind that, you know. This fire incident in West London, you know. My heart's with you all, you know. All you families suffering. It's hard, but again, it's a failing council. Cost cutting, salami slicing. Look what you've caused. Now, 2 years. How long have I been going for the serious case review? Do you know what I mean? You're going to sweep that fire in that tower block under the carpet. Half of these, you're not going to be able to identify the bodies. Do you know what I mean? There's bodies here, bodies there. Do you know what I mean? Where they've all tried to get away from the fire, you know, and they've all gone to this flat and they've all gone into the stairwells. Do you know what I mean? And we might not be able to DNA these bodies. Do you know what I mean? You know, a failing council. You know, and when you go to these councils, what you end up doing is you end up going down the line and you end up at one of the councillors. Now, these councillors in these councils are known as the human shields. And when I say human shields, in terms I mean, how can I go to a work engine that answers and deals with scrutiny, whether it be social services, whether it be for council tax, whether it be for mould, whether it be for any repairs on your home. How can I complain to a councillor who is to answer and deal with scrutiny? He is the work engine. It needs to be independent from the councils. I was sent a blank bullet in terms of, in the post, off the council. When I was going through the Misty Barnes case, they sent me a council tax bill of over £1,000. I said to them, can you send me a draft for that? They said yes. It was somebody else's bill they sent me in the post. Now this is a council cutting and pasting work in the council. I went into the council, I spoke to somebody from data protection. I said, can I speak to someone from data protection? Well, I've been sent this document, you've broken the data protection laws. She said, can I have that copy? I said, no you can't. I said, but you can copy it. She said, oh thank you. So she ran off, she copied it, she come back and said, have you just copied that document? She said, yeah. I said, you've just broke the law again because it ain't your document to copy. Can I see your boss? So this is at Thurrock Council. Now Lee Henley at the time was the data protection. Now it was all swept under the carpet and the council tax £1,000 plus bill was scrapped. Now is that what Thurrock Council's all about, like every other council? Is that why all the councils are failing? Because all this sweeping the dust under the carpet sort of attitude, you know? Do this for us, I'll give you coffee all week, you know? Cutting and pasting, and it goes right to the top. And when I go right to the top and I'll look at the chief executive of Thurrock Council and they're on over £150,000 a year. At the time of the Misty Barnes case, the chief executive was Graham Ferrand. This guy was on £198,000 a year plus. I have got him on audio along with John Kent, leader of Labour Party in Thurrock. I've got them on camera and on audio telling them all about it. And what did the Graham Ferrand, the chief executive, do? He ran away from the council. I've got no qualms with John Kent. Jackie Doyle-Price turned me against John Kent in the election of 2015 when I was used by the Tory party to gain Jackie Doyle-Price her seat for her own political gain, to take her job as an assistant whip in Parliament and turn her back on the Thurrock community. Now Tim Aker, you say you're going to hold the government to account and the council and all the rest of it. Where are you in my case, mate? Because you're firmly aware of it all. You've got a councillor in the Labour Party in the name of Terry Brooks. He gets done for his decent images of children. This guy walks into court, he's a councillor in the council for public protection and safety. He walks into court with an offence over his head of child indecent images of children, and he gets a community support sentence and ships off to Ipswich. Absolute shocking. Well, I'm telling people like you, Terry Brooks, my political party's got plans for people like you, because I'm going to hold people like you to account. People like you don't mix in this society. People in the society don't even want to keep people like you in jail. And when you're released from jail, the police are sick and tired of running around after you, wasting all their resources. So the Social Service Party is going to ease that, because my idea is going to be a turn of the seas. I'm not going to say what it is because it will be under the Social Service Party, and what I'm going to do is put it on my manifest along with all the other stuff. And these councils, you know, Human Shields as the councillors, it's absolutely shocking how many times I wanted to ask a question. I had to be rude. If you go on my YouTube, you will see me interrupting the council chamber. And when the video finishes, it turns to Mark Coxshall. This happens to be the husband of Jackie Doyle-Price. Now this man promised me the earth in the 2015 election. He promised me tabloid news, he promised me TV, he promised me the world. Now, if people know Mark Coxshall, that they know what Mark Coxshall's like. Now, he ruined the Tory party. He ran around telling lies. Make sure you, when you do go on Victoria Derbyshire show, Jack, make sure you mention Jackie Doyle-Price, and we're going to get you right out of there. And did they? No, they didn't. They thought of themselves. This Mark Coxshall was on the board for the fire service. He didn't attend any meetings, yet he was quick enough to draw all that money. I think he should stand down as a councillor. And also Jackie Doyle-Price, turning her back on what's going on. You know, I see there's been a cabinet reshuffle. Liz Truss, all happy on the internet. I'm happy with my new role. No, you aren't. You're trying to put a brave face on it, Liz Truss, ignoring the fact that you was having fish and chips with me in the pub and know all about my story. And when you took your job on as the Justice Secretary, you went all against oath to this country. And now you should be held to account for that, Liz Truss. Absolute shocking. Tonight I've got my missus again at the side of me, handing me a few notes, you know, so I'll be giving a few people a few shouts and that as we go along tonight. But tonight this show's on about the councils, hammering the council, because, you know, they take enough money in parking, they take enough money in licences to play radio and TVs in these CAFs, you know. The council is absolutely raking it in. And this borough, Thurrock, is being failed. And Tim Akers not going to listen to the community. I'll hold the council to account. No, you won't, Tim Aker, you know. I don't know what's wrong with Thurrock, you know, because I really wish John Kent would have got in. He's a Thurrock man, you know, he's for the people, you know, and that guy said to me early doors, I don't know why Jackie Doyle-Price never contacted me over this, you know. Jackie Doyle-Price with an ego trip ran into John Kent to sort the problem out. You should be ashamed of yourself, Jackie Doyle-Price. You've let your party down, you've let yourself down, and not only that, you've brought your party into disrepute. You're taking the mick out of people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, MPs I follow, you know, Richard Bacon, MPs I quite like, you know, who I follow in the committees. You know, it's unfortunate that we don't see the committees on the TV no more, do you know what I mean? But I religiously watch it. Yeah, sorry, babes. Mark Coxshall had firm involvement in the Misty Barnes case. Now, Mark Coxshall, regarding the court process, was sending emails to social care, Barbara Foster. Now, Barbara Foster, at the time, was heading the court case, signed all the papers off for the adoption. Now, Mark Coxshall was sending her emails saying that I was driving all kinds of different Mercedes on different days. Mark Coxshall, why are you telling lies to the social care team? And I can prove it, mate. I've got one Mercedes, okay? And I'm going to hold you, I'm going to get you liable for that, mate. So I hope you've got pennies in your bank where you've rifled all that money from the fire brigade for not turning up at your meetings. You want to hope you save that money, mate. Telling lies to social care through emails, and I can prove it, and I'm going to hold you to account for that civilly. You should stand down, Mark Coxshall. You know, there's good people in the Conservative Party, in the Conservative Party of Thurrock, you know, and I've got a lot of respect for, you know. Sue Little, you know, I'd like to give a big shout out to you. You know, I like you as a woman, and Steve Metcalfe, you know. These are people Jackie Doyle-Price are taking the mickey out of on a big scale, you know, and I'm sure there's not infighting in the Conservative Party in Thurrock, you know, because of what Jackie Doyle-Price has done. Now, for her to be coming around for votes in my area, delivering leaflets, and be telling me, swearing at me, she should be ashamed of herself. All the pain and suffering I went through to get my child back, I've got control, you know. She should stand down, Jackie Doyle-Price, and I'm calling for you to stand down. Forced adoption, it's got to stop. There's social workers out there constantly going into court and swearing on oath. Now, the Social Service Party is going to hold these social workers to account, you know, because it's shocking. They're bragging about it on Facebook. Now, Theresa May, this has got to be looked into. It's got to be looked into, you know, because when I start my political party, mate, I'm going to be a storm you're not going to be able to stop. You're not going to be able to stop me. There's parents out there wanting to kill themselves. I'm shouting for every child that's been stolen in the UK. Every child that's being looked after in the UK. Because, Teresa, when these children are being stolen, they're causing trouble. The Gazette divulged a children's home. Now, these children were taken off of parents, and these parents have been left in these homes crying for these children. Now, these children have been put in a home in East Tilbury, and it was divulged by the Gazette. Now, it's bedlam. The police are called there all the time. Again, stretching the police resources. Having to go round the parents' house because the parents are losing control. you're stretching the police resources. I've got plans for the police. I've got great ideas to raise money for the police. Because at the end of the day, I'm sick and tired of it. The government are expecting the police to run around and do cops and robbers and all the rest of it, to do a fantastic job, and you're squeezing their budget. The NHS, exactly the same. I combat social services. The police and the NHS, they're going to benefit from it. A combated social services will do that. Forced adoption is rife. Where are all these children going? Is the government? I don't know. You haven't got enough placements to place them. The social services in Thurrock, the council are offering to train families to be foster parents. How can a failed council be teaching any family? I'm going to take you to court for a council. I'm going to prepare a really lengthy threshold statement against you for a council, and I'm going to seek to remove your children, because I'm going to put a stop to forced adoption. I'm going to put a stop to it. And when I seek to remove your children for a council, I don't care if I do it or I don't. I know I've tried my heart, and I will go on with my party to make social services be the best. But what I know I will do in the meantime will seek to remove your children for the council. You shouldn't be round any children. I should be going into your council and assessing your social services. But you won't let me in there. I know you won't let me in there, because you know I will rock that ship violently, and none of you have got life jackets on. I'm going to put a stop to forced adoption. And social workers, there's some good social workers out there, you know, and I'm going to make social workers be the best, because we do need to have social services. We do need to have them. But at the same time, we need transparency on these social workers and accountability, because the HCPs is not enough. I've got a meeting next week with my barrister in London. I'm looking forward to my meeting. I'm looking forward to it. The press release has been put to one side. You know, I can't see these circumstances coming along, but I don't mind taking a back seat, you know. I don't mind waiting my turn, you know. I'm about waiting my turn, you know. I'm not angry, you know. I am politically passionate. I'm frustrated at the same time passionate for change for children, justice and transparency on social workers and accountability. These councils are raking it in, raking it in. You're shutting all these voluntary services down. Absolute shocking, you know. I'll get a grip of it and I'll combat it. I've got great ideas, you know. I've got a meeting next week in London with my barrister. I can't wait to go and meet them. I really can't wait to go and meet them. And I'm sure they're watching tonight, and I'm sure they can't wait to meet me, you know. Because when I meet my legal team, my agent in BTMK, you know, they spring off me, you know. I spring him surprises. He likes to hear me chat because I talk sense, you know, but he has to keep backpedaling me and says, Jack, we're not talking political here, you know. So, big hello to Stevie. Again, that's my nephew. Thanks for following me, Steve. I'd like you to do a little trick for me. I've got a great idea that anybody wants to do for me. If you want to do it, Steve, you're living right close to something. I want to put a sign somewhere, right where you live, Stevie, and I might ask you to do it. You know, going on signs. What I'd like everybody to do. I don't want everybody to go around graffitiing on anywhere. But what I want people to do is get, you know, the bathroom blinds, a sheet, anything, and write on it, hashtag Scouse Megaphone, hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man, right across the bottom of it, and then put on great big black letters, stop forced adoption, all over this country. I want to see signs in Scotland, all over the country, all on main roads, motorways, A roads, in towns, because all the time these signs are being spotted, right, they're not going to ignore it. They're not going to ignore it. So what I'd like everybody to do is get your bed sheets handy, get your paints out or your spray cans out, spray the bed sheets, don't do no graffiti on any damaging any buildings and any walls. Bedroom blinds are excellent for painting on. Stop forced adoption. I want signs all over the UK, show your force. Jackie Khan, thanks for sharing this tonight, you know. Again, you do a lot of sharing and a lot of likes, you know. You follow Night Calls. Again, great, thanks for doing that, you know, big shout for you, Jackie Khan, well done. Hello Rose, nice to see you've logged on tonight. I do look forward to chatting you, seeing you when I'm bumping into you in the, for a coffee and stuff, you know. Say hello to your boyfriend, top fella, I like him, you know. It's just a shame that social services have divided that man from his family, you know. So Rose, you know, big shout going out to you and your man and your kids, mate. You two have got lovely kids, you know. Big shout for your man, pat him on the back, you know. Be strong, fella, you know. I'm behind you, mate, you know. I know what them social services are doing. They divide families, you know, and it's a shame, but good on you, Rose, for dropping on tonight. Yeah, these councillors in these chambers, mate, £10,000. The local elections, you know. If I was elected as a councillor in the 2015 election for Grays Riverside, now I delivered all my own leaflets in that election. Every single leaflet on Grays Riverside, that was delivered by me. Now, if I'd have got my role as a councillor, I would have knocked on every door in my borough, in my ward, to listen to the community's concerns and how they're getting on. I have never seen one councillor knocking on doors in my ward. Never. I've been here 20 years. You're drawing £10,000 out the public purse. Why aren't you doing that as councillors? You know? Sue, you do a lot of work in your ward. Mate, you're a fantastic lady. Stephen Metcalf, mate, I think you're embarrassed at Jackie Doyle Place, and I'm going to speak out for you, because I am #Scouts Megaphone Man. Steve Metcalf, the work you do for young kids that are in college and all the rest of it, and your visits around Parliament, mate, I take my hat off to you, and you look quite suave. I've got to give you that, Steve Metcalf. You know, I like you as a man, you know. I like you, Ben Meany. I'd like to give a shout for you as well, you know. You're a nice bloke. You're quiet. I never got to meet you as well as I wanted to meet you. But again, you know, I take my hat off to you, Ben. Why can't we look into this forced adoption? If anyone would like to jump ship in any political party, it would be nice to get a seat for the Social Service Party in Parliament, you know. It'd be fantastic. I mean, I've got great aspirations, I've got great ideas. You know, my ideas will raise millions and millions of pounds of new money, not only for the police, because my main importance is social services and the police and the NHS. That's all I'm interested in. I'm not interested in earning loads of money. I'm not interested in sorting things out for me mates, because I'm not in this to make mates. You know, I'm in this because I'm a failed looked after child, you know, and for me to close the door on my childhood, you know, and this is me dealing with my childhood. I can't go to work. I can't go to work. My brain wants me to go scaffolding. My body physically wants me to go scaffolding. My nerves won't let me go scaffolding. Now, I am passion for change. Now, I'm going to get change, and I'm going to put a stop to forced adoption. You know, these foster parents that are looking after these people's children, there's got to be some other way, you know, other than giving them money, you know, training them up within 6 months, thorough counsel. You know, social workers are taking children, and they haven't even got children themselves. You know, the government. Do you want a broken society? I ask. Please answer. Do you want a broken society? You're failing people up and down the country. And the parties, you've got Jeremy Corbyn. You're going to hold government to account. Mate, when are you going to come knocking at my door? Paul Nuttall, you stood aside. Why didn't you come knocking on my door? Why didn't you speak to me about your death penalty? Maybe you would be in power now if you'd have come and knocked on my door, Paul Nuttall. I'm a Scouser. And I would have told you what to do with your death penalty and give you a different way of looking at it. And maybe if you'd have covered forced adoption, Paul Nuttall, you would have been in power now, mate. Social services is the heart of the government's economy wheel. I don't care what anybody says. It will ease the police and ease the NHS at the same time, raise millions of pounds of new money in the social service party. I'm going to combat it. Derek Gibson, I've just got a little message passed to me from the side. Derek Gibson, SS, the social service feels like unwanted due to social service turning their kid against their breaks their heart. I mean, kids that are going into care. I can touch on this. I've been a failed looked after child. Kids are going into care, and their name and their parents are being blackened by the social workers when they're in the care system. Now the children hates the mum and hates the dad. The mum is grieving, the father is angry. A domestic erupts. What happens? The police are not running around catching paedophiles. The police are running around that house sorting out a playground squabble you've caused. What are you going to do to the police? Are you going to compensate them for that time caused? For your failing? Stop telling children and baddening the parents to the children when they're in the care system. You're mentally and emotionally abusing the children. Good social workers in the social services don't do that. And there is good social workers in there. I don't need to name them. They know. I know who they are. Right? And what we need to do is build on that. The HCP is no good to holding the social workers to account. The council at Thurrock Council doesn't even tell the HCPC about the failings. Now, Derek, I understand what you're saying. Your family are ripped apart. You're grieving. My heart goes out to you. I know how you're feeling. They don't care about you. It's entertainment for them people. The social worker involved in the case, if you are on the child's case blackening the parents, why are you doing that? Why are you mentally and emotionally abusing that child and dividing that family? You're meant to be bonding community. I suggest the council should look into that, you know. The council should look into that. And my heart goes out to you, Derek. And my advice, mate, is do what I did. Put yourself a complaint through the complaints process of your council and take it right to the top, mate, right up to the panel, and see what you can do about it. Because at the end of the day, mate, these social workers, they're ruining it for the good ones, because social services do need to be there. But at the same time, we need the social workers that are already there, what are good, to train the bad ones up. Get rid of the bad ones and train the good ones up, you know. I'm a governor in a school, and I'm going to be soon putting myself forward to start doing a lot of work with social workers at Thurrock Council, because at the end of the day, I've got to start somewhere, you know, and I'm going to do it voluntarily, because that's me helping close a door on my childhood. And the only way I'm going to close the door on my childhood is getting involved, you know, with these social workers and trying to make these social workers be the best on the street, you know, be transparent. Because there are some good girls out there and blokes out there what are for children. Kay Keaton, that's a time from the old, you know, that's a time from the old, you know. Kay Keaton, I'd like to say thank you to you, mate. I was known as a little scruff and a little tramp in school, and everyone used to hit me. And I used to always get my revenge, you know. Kay Keaton used to play tennis with me in Coldstones Park when I was in a boarding school. I'd like to say thank you to Kay Keaton for giving me them high-tech Silver Cross trainers. I still remember this day, and I loved you for that, and I've never ever, all my life, Kay, forgot about that. And when I meet you, mate, I can't wait to meet you. So, I'm glad I've got loads of support in Liverpool, you know, because us Scousers, we are doers. We don't chat, we do. I know us Scousers, we never walk alone, you know. I've done time behind the door, you know, for handling stolen goods. And I'll see a councillor in the name of Terry Brooks, who's a councillor in Thurrock, get a community support sentence for indecent images of children. I got 6 months prison for handling stolen goods. The taxpayer doesn't like hearing that. The police don't like hearing that. The NHS don't like hearing that. The people that are paying tax don't like hearing that. So us Liverpool boys, I've been behind the door, I've been in care, everywhere I've gone, you know, I've treated people how I want to be treated, you know, at the same time, I've had a lot of respect, and I can always retread my footsteps wherever I've been. I've never bent any bridges, you know. We're Liverpool. We're Liverpool. We're good at everything. We're good at everything. There's people in Liverpool, I'm telling you, you families in Liverpool have got children and you've got hidden qualities you don't even know. Liverpool people are something else, you know. So a big shout going out to UK, thanks a lot, and a big shout going out to all you people in Liverpool that are following me. Please like and share my video, Amp for Change for Children, combating social services and combating illnesses. At the same time raising a lot of money, millions of pounds of new ideas, new money. Because I want to be bringing new taxes. I want to bring in new taxes because when I drive past Canary Wharf in London, mate, every single light is blazing. Now these places are earning millions of pounds. Now I want to tax all these people on light bulb tax. Theresa May, how many light bulbs have you got in your cabinet meeting? Light bulb tax. Don't be squeezing all these families. They've only got one light bulb in their living room going at 11 o'clock at night, and you go down Canary Wharf and it's blazing. Bishopsgate, blazing. It is the Scouse power cake. Us Scousers, mate, I'll tell you what us Scousers are about, right? We weather a storm. Hillsborough. I think there's something sinister against Scousers. Now, the Social Service Party thinks there's something sinister against Scousers. Now, we're resilient. Liverpool people are resilient. We weather the storm, we combat it, we hang on, we do not give in. And me, hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man, is not going to give in for the looked after child and the children in this community. Long-term fostering. Nick Talbot. You want me to touch on long-term fostering? I was a long-term fostered child. I then went on to a secure unit called Red Sands in Crewe. Secure unit. I went from there onto a young offenders institution. I went from there into prison. Peddling all the way back to long-term foster. I was with a foster parent, long-term, called by the name of Terry Fitzmaurice. Thank you very, very much. Rest my heart be with you. You know, it's good in some ways, but they're not looking after these children in long-term foster. Now, how much are these foster parents getting? Now, there's some good foster parents out there. I know a guy who's on head security at Canary Wharf. I had a good chat with this guy, and he's doing a bit of looking after. You know, I'm not going to mention his name. He does it for love. You know, and people like him are doing it for the love of the child and sending them on to do special schools and to be good in a good career, you know. But long-term foster, it didn't do me any good. The social services just dumped me into long-term foster and left me at the hands of that family. Now, as the child being dumped with a family, they might have the biggest house, they might have all the money in the world. When you go to bed as a child in that long-term foster placement, there's too much to mention that is missing. Going around in that child's head. Mum, Dad, siblings, the only person they know other than the parents would be the social worker. So they gain a little bit of bond with the social worker and trust. But the minute they get left with that foster parent, that child is grieving for the social worker. Don't tell me different, I know it. I've been that child. Now, when lights are turned out, that child starts grieving for its family. Now, this child starts developing problems. It might be on top of problems on top of problems that it's got into care for, but this child's now developing problems because it's grieving. Now social workers are saying that it's because of the abuse the parents have put down to this child. Now it isn't, because I've been that child and I'm telling you from that child. When that child is left from the social worker at the hands of the foster parents, it grieves for the social worker. Now when that child goes to bed of a night time, that child then goes on to grieve for family, siblings, other my brothers, sisters, mum, dad. Now that child develops problems. It doesn't want to listen. This child then goes on to think it knows everything. This child won't listen. This child will smoke. This child will drink. This child will run away. This child will commit crime, cause problems for the police. This child will no doubt have children before it's 16. Now, accountability. What are the social services, what are they going to do about the 40% of children coming out of care? What are they going to do about failing all them kids in that term? Nothing. It's okay for you to fail children. You're taking them children because they've been failed. Now, I'm a children's rights campaigner. This child might have been failed at the hands of the parents. It's been taken into care. I understand that. But when it's been failed again, when it's been left care, because it's incurred all these problems in care where you've not been looking after it, like the home in East Tilbury, Bedlam, causing problems for the police, taxpayers' money. These councillors, you're having a laugh. How can we complain to a work engine that answers and deals with scrutiny within the council known as councillors? I don't get it. Long-term foster, some cases it's good, but let's look at it from the child's point of view. You know, let's look at it from the child's point of view. 40% leaving care failed. Over 55% go into the care system failed. These children have failed twice. And you're expecting them to go to work and hold a job down. You wonder why this era of people, this my age group, they find it hard to go to work. They find it hard to be told to sweep a yard. They find it hard to go and empty wheelie bins. You're seeing them constantly being chased around the street by the police. These kids that are leaving care don't care. And gangs are forming up. It's ruthless. Try come and live in my world, the real world. Taxpayers, they're not walking whites. You know, fathers that don't want to go to work because they're not seeing their children. They're paying CSA and they're not seeing their children. Social Service Party will combat that. Because if you're not seeing your children, the Social Service Party will be setting trust funds up for them children. So, Nick, yeah, we'll go back onto the long-term fostering. Yeah, it doesn't work for the child, you know, and then this long-term foster child is gone from placement to placement to placement to placement, you know. Another message passed to me from the side from another one from Kirk. Took 20 years to get justice. Gladstone Secure Unit. Gladstone Secure Unit. I've not heard of it, mate, you know, but all these secure units up and down this country, Kirk, what you're getting is self-harmers. Self-harmers are leaving the care system. The police are running around the street, picking them up, putting them before the court, wasting a lot of money, causing a lot of damage, putting them before the court, spending the taxpayers' money. The barristers don't care because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. They're getting paid, you know, at the end of the day. And when these kids are getting into these young offending institutions, like the one over in Kent, in Cookham Wood, where it was on the TV, you know, the prison officers, mate, if you're having a hard time, you know, and you want to take it out on these young offenders who are self-harmers, mate, you mugs. You mugs, you know. That's all I've got to say to you, and I'm going to call you names, because I know how that child feels. He's been failed twice in the care system. He's got himself in unseen circumstances, been locked up, and you're kicking his head in, you know. And you've got the other places like Medham's Leave Evils, you know what I mean, known as Medham's Leave Evils through Pine Mash. Those that don't know about it. Great big massive building. It looks like he describes it, you know, the House of Horrors. Old Borstal from the old 1900s. Why can't you knock it down? I'd like to ask the government, why can't it be knocked down, you know? My suspicion is, as well as a few other suspicions, this is up in Durham, now known as Hassickfield. There's question marks over the playing fields, over the back. There's question marks under why the government, or why it's not been knocked down. I mean, how many flats could we build on that place? I mean, we're in a housing crisis. Why isn't this great big massive storey building been knocked down, you know? So these young offenders institutions, you know, we don't want, there's bedlam in jails, again, at the hands of a Liz Truss, you know, failing the party, failing the government. Liz Truss, you should stand down, you know. The prisons, you know, they're kicking off, you know, it's full of paedophiles. Taxpayers don't want to keep them. The police can't be bothered to keep running around the streets looking for them, protecting them, wasting taxpayers' money. I've got good ideas for them, and it's going to be a sale of the seas for children. And anybody, you know, anybody that disagrees with it, vote for another party, you know, because when my manifesto comes out, you know, it's going to be based around social services, you know, and it's going to give men a fair crack at the whip when it comes to seeing their children, and it's going to make them want to go to work, you know, because men don't want to pay for their children through CSA, because it's going to the parent, and some of these parents are spending it wisely on the children. They're giving it to the children, or they're spending it on the children, you know, or they're spending it on a household item what the children's going to really benefit from, you know. I can understand that. But the other token is, you've got the other side of the coin is the parent is going out spending it in clothes in the shops, and the father's seeing this. She's going out clubbing, being with other blokes, and the father's seeing this, and now the father doesn't want to pay his maintenance, so this child's being failed. So the Social Service Party is going to stick up for all you men, you know, all you men, you know, that are suffering, seeing your children, you know. Please don't keep risking your lives climbing buildings, because I don't want you to lose your life, you know. You know, I've got power for the lot of you, for change, you know, to see your children. I've just been passed another note from Sheena Phillips. Big shout going out to you, Sheena Phillips. If everybody who wants to please like and share tonight, Facebook Live, it'd be great. Social workers tell kids it's mummy and daddy's fault. Kids believe them saying, well, social worker says it's true. I mean, I touched on that regarding the long-term foster, where social workers as well, you know, they are. Some social workers are causing animosity within the social service system. Now, Jackie Khan, another one. Are these units run by G4S? Let me tell you something. They are coining it in. Group 4, Serco, G4S. They can't keep the prisoners safe in the prisons. They can't. It's, the government continuously say it is children's services is not for profit. Why are all these groups involved then? G4S, Group 4. Why? If it's not in it for profit, why is it for the extravagant wages in the Director of Children's Services within the councils, cutting and pasting paperwork for copies, for serious paperwork for court? These people are on fantastic wages, and they're not meeting the 26-week court process, taking the mick out of good social workers. Judges are sick of it. Just been passed another note. I'd like to have someone come onto one of my live shows to show their story. Now, when you go back in history, you see Guy Fawkes, and we celebrate that man. We spend millions of pounds and we celebrate that man. The Social Service Party will ban fireworks. Fireworks will only be used in displays through the government. Now, Guy Fawkes, we celebrate that man. If anybody would like to come onto my show, that is what these masks are for. These masks are for people who are gagged. Now, if you would like to come on my show, inbox me, let me know. But what I can't let you do is name any children, name any social workers, or reveal any children's identities. I've got to actually watch what I say. And now I'm not gagged and I'm shouting for all you people for forced adoption. I'm shouting for all you fathers that are not seeing their kids, all them groups, you know. I am going to be the tail of the season in the Social Service Party. But, you know, we've got to combat it. We've got to combat it. Madness. But yeah, again, this is what these masks are for. These masks are for the gagged families. I'd like to give a big shout out to you, Chris. Chris is up in Sheffield, had to travel far down south, past me, past London, to bury his son. As a children's rights campaigner, I'm going to shout your corner, Chris. As a children's rights campaigner, Theresa May and the council involved with this guy. This child was failed at the hands of the social services and at the hands of the centre that was meant to be caring for him. The social worker, the foster parent, administered medication. This child never had a handover book. When this child got to the next placement of day centre, they did not phone up a social worker or the foster parent to see if this child had medication. What they'd done to this boy's child was they killed it. They administered medication. That is negligence. The Social Service Party would hold that to account. Chris, what I would like you to do, mate, I'm a children's rights campaigner. Go to your council, get a complaints form, go through the complaints process of your council. If you've already done that, go on to the Ombudsman. Get the panel from the complaints process, stage 1, 2, 3, get the panel, get the adjudication for that. As long, along with, if you've been to the Ombudsman, get that as well. You've been failed, mate. And I'll have it looked into. And if you need any help, I'll help you. So a big shout going out to you, Chris. My heart goes out to you. You know, you will be reunited again, because I do believe you're reunited in spirit, because your brain's too complex to take in as much information over a lifespan that it does for there not to be a soul in the spirit world. I believe that. How did I do what I have done? And how am I going to do what I'm going to do? I've predicted everything I have done to my legal team. My legal team have got 110% faith in me. BTMK. My aspirations are going to be a turn of the seas, and that's what they say. I'm going to combat social services in the Social Service Party. So shall serve. I'd like everybody to like and share this tonight. Honour the brave. Hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man. You know, I'm here fighting for all you people. I'm a children's rights campaigner. I'm going to be throwing myself into a lot of children's work, voluntary, because I refuse to pay tax. I refuse to pay tax. I can't go to work as a scaffolder, so I refuse to pay any tax. I'm dealing with my childhood at the minute, regarding my son. I've had to give me counselling to my son, 80% of counselling to my son. He was failed, abused at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend. No justice. But again, I'd like to say thank you to the child protection team that came round to my home today to chat. And I've got faith in the Grays child protection team. They do a great job. And any families that suffered regarding forced adoption or children at the hands of the Grays police, I'm sure they didn't mean what they did, but they do act on orders, and they have to act on orders. A lot of people, I've done it myself, I've called names to the police, I've thrown sticks and stones, toxed of riots at the police. I mean, I've punched hose pipes in, I've done a lot, you know. I've turned the corner, you know, me having my child stolen by the state. I'm saying stolen because Thurrock Council perjured themselves and stole my child. Judge Lynn Roberts, I honour you. I'm sorry for calling you by your first name in court. No, I'm not a Freemason, but social services need to be clean. You know, the police are sick of it. The police are dying to hear my ideas. You know, I've been a pain in the bum to the police. You know, through child growing up. And again, I'd like to say sorry to the police, because I mean, I have cost the taxpayer. I've been behind the door, you know, and this is me dealing with my past, my childhood abuse, 6 years looked after child, you know. So me offering myself to social care at the helm of Harris Primary, you know, because I offer my voluntary services to my children's school, you know, because my children love to go to that school, you know. It's the child protection team in that school, Harris Primary Academy, second to none, you know. Harris, the team in that school for child protection, mate, they're excellent. They're excellent, you know, and I know that they're opening their classrooms that are not being used at the minute on top floor for the social services, but I am going to be putting myself right in there, voluntary, to make them social services go on the front line and be the best they can be, because that's what it's all about, protecting children. Social services do need to be there, you know, but we need to dry up all these tears of all these suffering families in the social services, under the social services, you know, all these tears under all these looked after children that are being failed. You know, we need to sort all this, because it's stretching the police, it's stretching the NHS. You've closed all the voluntary services. I mean, I say it again, do government want a broken society? I don't get it, you know. But the heart of the government's wheel is social services, and I think I've got I'm steady, and I'm going to turn that wheel at a nice steady pace to make the police and the NHS be the best it can be, to protect children and look after us all, you know. We're all playing the same game. Nobody can cheat. Now, why can't we just all have it as a nice place? I'm not in it for money. I'm in it for the power to make change. Money won't make change. I want to make change. I've just had an old past. It is stealing children. My child was stolen. It goes on. Children are being stolen at the hands of social services. Now, like I say again, you haven't got enough placements to place these kids. You're leaving these kids in children's homes to cause bedlam for the police, looking for them. Where are all these children going? My mind wanders. Is it ethnic cleansing? My mind wanders this way. Is it horror movies? My mind wanders this way. You know, my mind wanders that way. You know, where are these children going? You know, it's not organised entertainment within the establishment. We call it on the street pornography. The Tory party, they don't call it pornography. They call it blinded by love, organised entertainment. I was a failed looked after child with no justice. Kirk Eden, I see what happened to him. I could name a lot of boys in my school, on my Facebook. Failed kids, beaten, no justice. No justice. The Social Service Party is going to look into children's cases in terms of Rotherham. You know? Poppy Worthington, this won't happen. Coca, Baby P, all failed at the hands of the social services. It's a failing system. And when I seek to remove Thurrock Council's children under my threshold statement in the family court, I am going to move on to council to council. Any council that is failing. But I am going to do a lot of voluntary work with, because voluntary through the school that I'm a governor in waiting at, to make the social services at Thurrock be the best, you know. And I am going to do it voluntary, because that's my way of counselling and closing the door on my past, because that is me trying to make change, and that's what I want. Just had another note passed to me from Kirk. You're on it tonight, ain't you, Kirk? I mean, I haven't seen you since you give me a pair of high-tech trainers, you know, playing tennis back in the boarding school. Social services need to be replaced with something new. Yeah, the Social Service Party. Me. I expertise in social services. No one can tell me in Parliament that I don't know what I'm talking about. I can say to any MP in Parliament, any Lord, What do you know? I have lived it, I have ate it, I have slept it, I've been abused by it, and I've beat it, and I am going to wipe the floor with it. Because it needs to be combated. Everyone does need to be sacked, Kurt, you know, because it's shocking, mate, you know. It's shocking. And the Social Service Party should be the one going around assessing these councils, because there's only one person that knows social services is the best, and that is me. And I am going to blow my own trumpet. I expertise in social services. They broke the law and stole my child. Now this is going on up and down the country. Now, you nick my child and later to return it. I would like justice. Theresa May, I can prove Thurrock Council Social Services perjured themselves and stole my child. I would like transparency, I would like accountability, and I would like justice. For me to move on and please make change. To put an ease on the police force and the NHS using my aspirations to raise millions of pounds of new government money, of new ideas. Easing all them budgets in all them homes. Aaron Sexton, another message. Sorry. Big hi to you, Aaron. Thanks for looking on. Please share it. You know, get this out there. If you've only just logged on, mate, you need to go back and have a look on it. I had a chat with you. I think you're the guy from Southend. Crack on, mate. I hope you've done the advice that I give you. Again, you might have to start from scratch. I have to go back and remind and backpedal to the conversation. It's a bit hard because I'm live, but it's my second live show tonight. But you know, if you have to apply to court to go back to get your contact reinstated because she's moved, run away for you to not see your child, go back to court, you know, get your contact reinstated. Mate, if they say to you, you've got to do it supervised in a contact centre, mate, go like that. Dry your mouth and do it, because they can only keep you in a contact centre for as long as they, if the contact report notes are great, mate, you're right in the community. So, get your contact reinstated through court, mate, you know, and once it does, if you have to travel 300 miles, travel 300 miles, mate. You know, I had to travel all the way up to Newcastle to get evidence. I had to travel into Kent. I had to go all around the place, mate. But good luck to you, mate. And the best of luck to you and your family, you know, to try and make a go of it. But go to court and get your contact reinstated and work with the contact centre, and you'll be out in the community in no time, mate. Just dry your mouth, show no emotion, enjoy your time with your child. I've just had another one, Pat. I had to fight through this and keep my missus' head right. I had to keep my missus' head right. Now, going through the court process, when they nicked my child, Thurrock Council stole my child, what fathers and up and down this country, not only me, what they have to do is grieve, witness, be mentally, emotionally abused of seeing somebody they love in a heap on the floor crying. Now, I had to peel my missus off the floor many mornings in the baby room. In the baby room. I had to get my missus in a good state of mind. Social worker would phone up. Are you going to be at the meeting? What meeting? You've got a meeting in 15 minutes. You never told us about that. The social worker said, yeah, we did. So I had to get my missus in a good mindset in 15 minutes. Mate. And the crime was saying my counselling, mate, my counselling is second to none. I got my missus in a good mindset. We went to the council. We showed no emotion. We showed no animosity. We took notes. We got minutes. Yeah. And we were amicable. We were nice. We had our child stolen. And we were to the point, we didn't call names. We didn't show no animosity and no feeling of anything of the sort. It's hard to keep your missus in the same place. if this woman hasn't got a boyfriend, the father of the child round her, what you've got is a nervous, emotional, suicidal wreck that wants to run away, that ends up going on social media. Now this woman is taking advice off wrong people. Run off to France, run off to Ireland. It's hard, I know it is. I know it is. I contemplated running off. Every single day. Everybody will do it. I thought of all sorts. So, my heart goes out to all you women, you know, because to break that bond, I don't know what it feels like. It's the only part of social care I don't know. So, my heart goes out to you girls that have lost any child to forced adoption, you know. You might have lost a child to unforeseen circumstances and the father's got custody of the child. You might have done wrong, but you might, again, it could turn the corner in your life where you've seen the sense and you're grieving. My heart goes out to you for making mistakes, you know, because we're all human. We make mistakes, you know. People that have lost their children to social services, they don't get no new identity. Yeah, people that have really caused some serious harm to children in the UK get new identities and protected. Now this is shocking. I can't understand it. Taxpayers' money is spent. More money. I'm going to start thinking about winding it up for Facebook Live tonight. I'm going to do a Facebook Live Sunday night, 9 o'clock. I'm going to put a few posts out there for my Facebook Live, 9 o'clock. Please like and share this tonight. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that shares this video. I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody in the States that follow me, everybody in the States that go on my YouTube. Thank you very much for following me. It'd be nice to reach out into the States. I mean, I'm starting thinking about starting a social service party up, and I'm really taking this seriously. And it's going to be a turn of the seas for children. All you people in the States, I'm going to start a social service party, and it will reach out probably worldwide, because my aspirations are going to reach out worldwide. And it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic in the States, you know. I'm being viewed quite a few people on Facebook. People talk to me from the States, so a great big shout going out to you in the States. And again, we're going to do a great job on this one, Donald. We're going to do over in the UK, man. We're going to do a great job. If anyone wants to be a part of the next live show, please inbox me. We'll see if we can get you on the show. We can get you in a mask if you gagged. But yeah, I'm sorry again. I'm sorry to Eugene for not turning up today. I had a meeting with Child Protection Grays today, so it was unforeseen meeting, so I had to be there. Big shout going again to the Grays Child Protection team and the good social workers of Flood Council. Big shout going out to the school my kids are, the Child Protection team there. Anybody that's watching knows. Brilliant team. So please like and share. I've got great ideas. I'm slowly going to release more and more of the ideas and how much new monies I can raise for children, but it's based around children. My new ideas do raise a lot of money, and they are rolling funds. The Alzheimer's, raising money for that, 850,000 sufferers, £25.5 million I can raise of new money for Alzheimer's. That's again a new government idea, and that's a rolling fund for the Alzheimer's that I've got there. Again, we rolling fund for 11 million children in the UK. If I only hit half of them, which would be 6.5, I could raise £195 million. New money, new idea, rolling fund that would be. My initial thing, I would put £95 million into old people's homes to keep them old people together, because the judge's Monday's recommendation, it was inhumane to separate them. Social services failing them big time on that score, you know. And the other 100 million of that money I'll put into children's mental health. Again, a rolling fund. I've got some great ideas for Harris Academy if anybody's watching. I've got great aspirations for Harris Academy. I've got good ideas, you know. I'm on track. I'm all about raising and getting a coach together for Harris Academy. I'm going to go out my way to get a coach for Harris Academy, so all them children have got the best education for school trips, a wider and broader education with a coach. I believe, as a children's rights campaigner, that every school should have a coach, and I've got great ideas to raise this money, you know, to get these school coaches. Harris Academy, now the head principal down there, brilliant. Mrs. Hanley, fantastic. But again, I'm going to wind it up tonight. Please like and share, and hopefully we'll get it about and we can get it all out there and do what's right for children, because like we are all in the same game. And to close it out, I'm going to play the forced adoption song, the song for the children. This is the song for the children of the UK. Every forced adopted child, every father that's grieving to see a child. This is the song for the child of the UK, the States. Spend a little time now. I feel touch. Respect.
The higher you build your barriers,
All that family is forced adoption.
the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away,
I am going to combat social services.
the faster I will run.
I'm going to ease the police force.
You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away.
I'm going to raise loads of money for the NHS.
No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, 'cause you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You know that my pride's so strong. No, no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
I'm tearful. Found looked at that child. Want to make change.
The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing.
Big shout, Jackie Khan.
The walls of Jericho,
Big shout, Kurt.
the lies will come tumbling. Deny my
Big shout,
place
Sheila.
and time.
Sandy Joyce.
This wonder that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. 'Cause there's something inside so strong, so strong. I know that I will make it, 'cause you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You know that my pride's so strong. No, no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough.
Good enough, good enough.
When we know better, just look them in the eyes and say, gotta do it anyway. Gotta do it anyway. Gotta do it anyway. Gotta do it anyway. Because there's something inside so strong. Inside so strong.
My heart goes out to all you families. I am not going anywhere. I am a turn of the seas for children. The police don't want to lock me up. They quite like me.
Something inside so strong.
I will go on my way to make that NHS be the best. social service party is the way to go. Love all you people. I love all you people. Sunday 9 o'clock live. See you soon. Take care.